Good evening and welcome back into this new More Weather Forecast video. My name is Becca Moore and I'm back here in the weather studio for a very important weather update on Hurricane Milton. It is currently a Category 5 hurricane just north of the Yucatan Peninsula, expected to bring significant impacts to the Gulf Coast of Florida as we head into Wednesday, when it is expected to make landfall. All the details are going to be in this video. So let's just get straight into the forecast, because obviously with a strong storm like this, we've got a lot to talk about. So right now, going over the alerts we have across the Florida Peninsula. In the red, that's where there are hurricane warnings. This, of course, does include Tampa, Bradenton, Florida, down towards Sarasota and Cape Coral as well, all the way inland towards Orlando. Again, this is not just going to be a coastal storm, it's also going to be an inland storm as well, bringing those hurricane impacts well inland, and we see that all the way north, even up towards Gainesville as well. Gainesville just north of that warning. But you can see this is not just going to be a coastal storm, it's going to bring impacts well inland. And then in that yellow, we do have tropical storm watches, blue tropical storm warnings, and in the pink, that's where we have hurricane watches in effect, and that's for the Jacksonville area along that eastern coast, that Atlantic coast of Florida. Now, the track of Hurricane Milton as of now, of course, not pinpointed on exactly where it's going to make landfall in Florida yet. But again, just like I said at the start of this video, it's just to the north of the Yucatan Peninsula. Right now, believe it or not, a Category 5 hurricane last night and into this morning had incredible intensification, went from a Category 1 to a Category 5 hurricane. And again, you can see that's expected to make landfall as we head into this Wednesday, as a major hurricane. That means Category 3 or higher hurricane near the Tampa Bay area. So anywhere along that Gulf Coast of Florida, but really near the Tampa Bay area, is where we're expecting that landfall to likely take place. And you can see that hurricane strength does persist through the peninsula. It's not expected to weaken to a tropical storm until it's well off of the peninsula, actually, at this point. So we're expecting those hurricane conditions, as I said, well inland as well. That's why this is going to be such a dangerous storm, not only for the coastal areas, but also for the inland areas. So that's the track right now, and of course, that will get more precise and updated. But if you're anywhere in this cone and just outside of it, in those tropical storm warnings as well, hurricane warnings, hurricane watches, you need to start preparing, or if you're under evacuation order, evacuate, because this is going to be a very serious storm as we head into early Wednesday when those impacts start coming ashore. Now, the peak storm surge forecast for right now, we do have a significant storm surge expected as we head into the Tampa Bay region, around 10 to 15 feet there near Tampa Bay, and then in the Bay, again, still 10 to 15 feet of storm surge, which of course will be devastating if that does come into fruition. And right now, that's the forecast. So start preparing right now. If you're on the long coast of the Tampa Bay region, you need to start preparing. If you're inland along the bay, you need to start preparing as well, or evacuate if you're under one of those orders, because you know, if you've been through flooding in Tampa Bay, storm surge in Tampa Bay, it can get very bad very quickly in that region and get pretty devastating, and that would be devastating. That's the forecast right now, so start preparing for that. And it does lessen as you head down the coast, but still looking at significant storm surge north and south of Tampa Bay. Now, looking a little bit closer at Tampa Bay, this is the storm surge inundation map, and all those areas in these colors, the blues, the orange and yellows, the reds, that's where it's expected right now from the forecast to be underwater. Again, this will be devastating. If you have a home along the coast or along the bay, a business as well, either start preparing now, or if you're under an evacuation order, evacuate now. I highly suggest that, because this will be devastating if this comes into fruition. Very, very bad for the Tampa Bay area. And then also an area is going to be Charlotte Harbor down towards Fort Myers. The storm surge right now expected to be actually a lot worse than Helene. Again, all those areas in the red, orange, yellow, and blue expected to be underwater right now from the National Hurricane Center's forecast. and this will also be very bad for this region. So same thing for you. If you have a coastal home or business, either start preparing now or evacuate if you are under an evacuation order, because both of these areas as of now and likely are going to be significantly impacted by a large, strong Hurricane Milton as we head into Wednesday. And then our last hurricane graphic here is going to be the flash flooding potential. We have a moderate chance, at least 40% chance of that flash flooding, and that goes well inland from Tampa Bay all the way through Orlando and up towards Jacksonville as well. Again, those strong winds that are not only going to affect the coast and the incredible rainfall, but also inland towards the Orlando area. If you're in Orlando, up towards Jacksonville as well, along that Atlantic, northern and central Atlantic coast of Florida, you also need to be preparing for very significant hurricane force impacts. Hurricane force impacts are expected for you if you're in Orlando, if you're up towards Jacksonville, if you're over towards Cape Canaveral as well. You need to be prepared for that. And I'll leave you with this. Get moving when a storm threatens. And right now, in those areas I just mentioned, a storm is threatening right now. So protect your home. Cover windows, secure doors, and loose items. Determine sheltering options and consider your pets. Ready your go bag, meds and supplies, charge phone, and fill up / charge your vehicle. Help your neighbors, especially the elderly and other vulnerable people, and follow those evacuation orders if given. So that about wraps up this more weather forecast video. If you're in any of those warnings especially, or those watches, start preparing again and for significant impacts. And if you are in an evacuation order, like I've been saying this whole video, evacuate. Take this seriously. This is going to be a very strong storm, possibly historic storm with very significant impacts. So start preparing now, and if you're in evacuation order, evacuate now. So as always, stay prepared out there. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe here for more updates, and I will see you soon with more weather. Stay safe out there.